I know a lot of churches place a very high value and standard on excellence. At the same time, it is very important for the same churches to consider. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and watching this video. For those of you who don't know this, I have been a worship leader in my church for a really long time. Over those years, I've developed sort of a lot of awareness as to what worship leading actually entails. I've been through many ups and downs throughout my journey. Hi, it's Editing Joel here, and I just wanted to pop by and say that this video is actually cut from the live stream that I did about building a worship set for a weekend service. And if you want, you can go and watch that entire stream. But I thought there were some things that I said in that video that could be helpful for others as well, especially with regards to worship leaders who want to prepare themselves and prepare their teams for rehearsals and running rehearsals and sound check, as well as preparing yourselves for the service in general. And maybe you do not want to watch the entire stream, which is okay. So that's why I made this video. I've also added timestamps to this video, so you can click around and skip to the sections that resonate with you and that you want to hear about. If there is not a need for a rehearsal midweek, and I feel like the team's confidence level is good enough for a Sunday, especially with songs that we've done over and over again, and there's no new songs being introduced. These are songs that we've sung enough times for the team to be comfortable. I will refrain from actually having any midweek practice because I will trust my team to come prepared on Sunday itself, and we will just run through the songs. So Sunday call time will be slightly earlier, but that avoids us having to call them back in for another session. If there is a rehearsal, it is important for the worship leader to be the most prepared person in the room. That means you know the songs inside and out. You know what keys we're singing in. Not only your part, but exactly what each and every person's part is supposed to be. And when they are not able to fulfill those parts, you know what kind of support to offer them. And I know we have worship leaders who are not necessarily musically trained. They can lead the congregation well. They're really good worship leaders, but music is not their strength. Now, if you are watching this and you are one such worship leader, it is important for you to take it upon yourself to seek out help, be it from your team members themselves or other professionals who are in music. You could take music classes, vocal lessons, singing classes to get yourself a bit more aware of what keys are and how to pick the right keys for your voice. You can also enlist the help of some of your team members. If you tell them, hey, would you be able to run through my songs with me so that I can prepare myself? If you are not the person to give musical direction as a worship leader, you entrust that to someone in your team and you follow up to make sure that they are able to pull off the responsibility that you've entrusted them with. Using the resources, the team that you have wisely is very, very crucial to running effective rehearsals and also running effective services. When it comes to rehearsals, my philosophy is that I do not consider rehearsals as practice time. Practice is what happens at home in their own time, and rehearsal is what happens as a team when we all piece things together to make sure that everything gels. I strongly disagree against practicing at rehearsal. Showing up to rehearsals not knowing what parts you're going to play, not knowing which sections you are singing as a singer is not something that is ideal, in my opinion. In order for that to happen, if I expect that as a standard from my team members, it starts with me as a worship leader. I'm preparing well in advance. I've equipped my team with the knowledge that they need to have to prepare for the worship set. I've also given enough time for them to prepare for it. That means there's no excuse for them to not listen to the songs, to not practice at home, to not come prepared. I've also considered the time in case any of the team members are struggling. Then that's when I can step in and I can be like, hey, we have time. So what we will do is, you know what, let's plan a session. If you're having problems with getting this song right, so if it's a keyboardist, I'm not very good at keyboard, so I will enlist the help of another keyboardist that I know has served longer and who's able to play certain songs. I'll enlist their help and try to offer them the support that way. Or if it's something guitar related, then I know I'm confident in that area, then I can offer that help. So I will be like, hey, let's sit down, let's gather during one of these sessions. And I'll bring that one team member into a practice environment where we can learn the songs together and I can help offer them some sort of direction and help. So when they come to rehearsals, they are prepared. So this happens before rehearsals. And now I know that not everyone has the luxury of time, not everyone has the luxury or access to effort and skill in their context, and that's fine. But it's very, very important, irregardless, to be intentional about preparing our team members and taking a personal interest in how they're doing, how they're able to keep up with the demands and the responsibilities that we are placing on them. I know a lot of churches where they place a very high value and standard on excellence, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's very important to have excellence. We're doing this for God. We want to do our best. Yes, but at the same time, it is very important for the same churches to consider, are we equipping our team members for excellence? Are we setting them up for success? Are we giving them the resources and the support they need to be excellent? And if we're not, I think it's important that we take an inside look as worship leaders, as people that are caring for others, leading teams and congregations. It's important for us to take it up on ourselves to ensure that those members are prepared. And that is my philosophy when it comes to everything worship, but definitely for rehearsals. This also saves a lot of time with one person who is not able to pull off a certain thing. Then you make live adjustments where everyone has to now go into adjustment mode. Everyone has to compensate for what one person's not able to pull off. But when you prepare well in advance, you give the opportunity to figure those things out before you guys come together for rehearsal. And once you are at rehearsal, understand that time is very, very important. It cannot be bought. And when someone offers you, because a lot of our churches are volunteer-based, so they're not necessarily being paid for their time. So it is the generosity of your volunteers that is enabling you to be able to have this opportunity to serve alongside with them, to have their skill and their talent be used for the glory of God. Now, as a worship leader, it is super important to me to make sure that not even a second of their time is wasted when they come to rehearsals. If rehearsals set at 6:30, for example, I arrive at 5:30 to make sure that everything is turned on. Everyone has a place where they're supposed to plug into. All the mics are ready. Now, I know that not everyone has the access and the ability to do that. But if you can, push for it. I promise you, this will definitely improve your rehearsals. Come early. Make sure everything is ready. Treat your team like rock stars. Make sure everything is ready for them so that when they come, they just have to plug in. I even focus on things like power outlets. Do the guitarists have a place where they can plug in their pedal board? Do the monitors work? Do the speakers work? Every single thing I pay a lot of attention to. Just for the I spend hours doing that behind the scenes just so that my team, when they come, I do not waste any single second of their time. Every single part of the rehearsal is very crucial. But of course, in order to have that standard of excellence, it is very important that time is valued. Every person is valuable. Every person's time is valuable. That's their life that they're giving to us. So we must treat it with respect. So if you have 5 people serving on your team and your rehearsal carries on for an hour, that's 5 hours altogether. You are responsible for 5 hours of life being spent in a rehearsal time. And that is time that they can never get back. So that weight weighs on me heavily. And I pay a lot of attention to planning my rehearsals, knowing what to do, knowing where things are at every single moment, so that any troubleshooting can happen right away. Anything, I have plan A, plan B, plan C laid out so that I will never have to be in a position where I'm wasting someone else's time. And even so, if something happens where outside of my control, I know that because I pay so much attention and care and I give them so much respect, I've seen my team members be a little bit more kind towards me when it comes to things that I can't control. And what you give will eventually come back to you. So I can try my best to prepare for everything. But sometimes there are unforeseen technical errors, just things that I probably forgot. That happens. And when those moments occur, which is very rarely, I notice that my team is very gracious. And I think it takes time to sort of develop that relationship. And they will be more likely to be gracious towards you if you are respectful and gracious towards them. And I think that is very Christ-like to do as well. That's how I run my rehearsals. Like I said, I come in probably about an hour before everyone comes in. And as soon as they come in, we plug in. Once they plug in, we do a line check. We don't do a proper sound check on rehearsal day, but we just do a quick line check, and we try to get running as soon as possible. Check if the tracks are working, check if the clicks are working, check if you can hear yourself and you can hear each other that you want to hear. Check if you can hear the MD who is giving out the directions. Once that's done, we will just go pray and go straight into song one, and I'll just do a full run through. If there's any songs that require a little bit more attention to detail, we'll probably run it a couple of times. During this part, there's not a lot of explanation that I have to do because I've already done the explanation well ahead of time. I've already given people like, okay, this is what I expect from you. This is the part that I want you to focus on. I've already done that behind the scenes. So when I come to rehearsals and when we all gather together, it's just a matter of seeing how things work out on the day itself. Any adjustments that need to be made will be made on the spot. And usually my rehearsal lasts from about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, maximum an hour. There are situations where there's special services. We have to rehearse a lot of things, not just songs, but like flows of things. And they could take about an hour and a half. But with regards to just the worship set, I tend to finish around like 30 minutes. 30 minutes is well enough time to rehearse all the parts that require rehearsing, especially the parts of like new songs, transitions that you want to make, and just to make sure that the tracks are working properly according to our specifications and so on. And my specific case, since I don't have a midweek rehearsal, I will just call in the team earlier on Sunday morning. 7:30 a.m. is when everyone comes in for rehearsal and sound check. So what I do is I come in around 6 or 6:30 a.m., set up everything. Once everything is set, I'll just take a little bit of around 15-minute break. I'll take a break for myself. And then by the time I'm out of that break, it's sharp 7:30. Everyone's on stage. This is when the sound guy is also here. We start with sound check. So sound check, we do a proper sound check. It usually takes us around 30 minutes to 45 minutes, where we're testing every single input, trying to tweak every single part of like the drums to make sure it sounds tight. We're tweaking things like reverb, tweaking things like EQ, compression. Every single thing is being tweaked to its utmost proper level of perfection, as much as we can. Once that's done, we run through the songs. Again, that will be another 30 to 45 minutes. We're about an hour and a half in. And once that's done, we pray together as a team. And then we take a break before the service starts. So usually, if our rehearsal starts at 6:30, probably around 9, we are completely done with all rehearsals and sound checks. I think at the end of the day, if I could sum up everything I've said, do everything on purpose. Don't let things just happen just because that's the way we've been doing things for years. Think about your team as individuals. Take a personal interest in their lives. Be intentional about how you lead worship. You don't have to do things that other worship leaders do. You don't even have to do what I say you should do. Definitely being intentional helps us be a bit more cautious and a bit more sensitive to the needs of people that are under our care. And I think it pays off in the long run. We develop better worshipers who excel in their skill and also in their ability to lead others in worship. And that takes a lot of time, that takes a lot of effort. If you are faithful as a worship leader and you continue to press on, continue to be intentional in your pursuit of leading your team members and your congregation and loving them the way Christ loved each and every one of us, that will definitely go a long way. And your team members will look forward to the day that they get to serve with you again, because they love that you respect their time, that you honor them, that you give them the support, and you equip them to do well. These are more important than anything else, more important than song choices, more important than getting all the musical parts and nailing all the riffs and everything. Like, the people are important, and above them is God. God is important. God's will God's direction for your church and for your ministry, and what God has placed in your heart for the worship set that you're leading is also very important. So considering all of that, it is a heavy toll. It is a heavy burden that's placed on you as a worship leader. But at the same time, I think the rewards for your labor will be great, and you will be able to see them in the lives of others. There's nothing more fulfilling than allowing God to work through you to bless others. And it can be in the smallest way possible. I think that's it. I think I've tried to close this video already 3 times, but this is where I want to end it. Thank you so much for watching.